This is Chapter 2 of The Packet in Portland, written by Alexi Hart. Nora sat, opened her laptop, and logged into the Atlas Desk portal. A single message waited at the top of her inbox. Routing. U.S. West. Priority. Standard contract. Flag. Over-prepared. Deadline. 48 hours. Below the header sat the handler's note, written in the same clipped voice all Atlas Desk communications used. We verified the attorney, verified the deposition notice, verified witness identity. Packet includes third-party habit mapping that did not come from client intake. Please review with caution. Same split as always. We'll route the remainder to the usual account. Fair is funded, Nora thought, and didn't let herself smile. She clicked Open Packet. A clean folder appeared on screen. Intake summary, timeline, legal documents, contact list. Everything arranged like a polite lie, the kind that suggested order even when reality was messy. Nora scanned the top page. Client, civil rights attorney, federal suit, high profile, narrative sensitive. Witness, essential. Deposition scheduled in 48 hours. Witness currently missing. Nora's eyes flicked to the clock in the corner of her screen. She didn't like clocks, not because of urgency, but because time compressed choices. Time made people compromise. The Atlas Desk used deadlines as a filter too. If a client waited until the last second, it told Nora something about how they treated truth. She scrolled. The witness had last been seen at an apartment complex on the east side. No forced entry. Phone powered down. No bank activity. No public transit card taps. No calls logged after a single outgoing number that had been redacted as sensitive. Nora paused. Redacted by whom? She opened the attached deposition notice. 48 hours was not a metaphor. The date and time were fixed. The case caption was real. Nora's gaze moved to the next document. A habits map. It was a simple table. Coffee shop visits, gym check-ins, rideshare pickups, a weekly stop at a corner store that sold lottery tickets and cheap bouquets. Each entry had a time range and a note about variability. Someone had done the sort of work Nora usually did after she accepted a case. Someone had already rebuilt the witness's routines and left it inside the packet as if it were normal. Over-prepared. Nora sat back and closed her eyes for a moment, letting her brain assemble the shape of the problem without forcing it. A witness disappears just before deposition. Multiple factions want the testimony to happen, but only on their terms. A narrative is already being protected. The disappearance is tidy, which meant either the witness planned it or someone else planned it for them. And someone had mapped the witness's habits. Nora opened her eyes and clicked the client contact sheet. The attorney's name was first, phone number attached, along with a note. Client requests immediate meeting. Prefers presence of media ally. Nora's mouth went still. A media ally. A journalist. Nora scrolled further. Investigative journalist, Lane Izquierdo. Outlet listed. Phone number. A short note in the Atlas Desk's neutral tone. High profile. Pushes for access. Believes in impact. Risk. Narrative over truth. Nora tapped her finger once against the desk, not as a nervous habit, but as a signal to her own mind. Pay attention. She opened the witness's profile photo. A face in their late 20s. Tired eyes. A smile that looked practiced, like someone who had learned to be palatable. Nora read the witness's statement summary. It was clean. It was coherent. It was exactly what someone would want a witness to be, which meant it probably wasn't all of it. Nora closed the file and sat still. She could decline, It was a paid contract. No blue card, no moral override, no personal delivery. But the Atlas desk didn't flag overprepared packets unless something in them smelled like control. And Nora had spent her whole life refusing to let official stories replace proof. She opened a new document and began a list, each line short and actionable. Confirm last confirmed sighting. Request analog trail. Receipts. Ride logs. Building entry records. Identify who produced habit map. Find redacted number origin. Assess who benefits from witness silence. She saved the list, then reached for her phone. Before she called the client, she sent one message through the Atlas desk. Need source on habit map. Who generated? How obtained? Also confirm redaction authority on outgoing number. I will not accept withheld fax after intake. She didn't add a signature. The Atlas desk didn't need it. Nora stared at the client's number for a beat, then dialed. The line rang twice. A man answered, voice bright with practiced confidence. Nora Mitchell? He said her name like he was already proud to be associated with it. Yes, Nora replied. This is Nora. Relief flooded his tone. Thank you for taking this. We're in a very delicate moment. I want to be clear. We're on the same side here. Nora looked out the window at the city below. Cars moving in orderly lanes, people crossing at lights, each one believing in rules that were only as strong as the people who enforced them. I'm not on sides, Nora said. I'm on facts. A pause. A recalibration. Of course, he said quickly. Facts. Right. Look, we need to meet immediately. I can come to you or you can come to my office. And Lane will be there. He's been covering the case. He's trusted. He understands the stakes. Nora heard the word trusted the way she heard the word narrative, as a request for compliance. No, she said. Silence. No, the attorney repeated, slower, as if he hadn't heard her correctly. No media at intake, Nora said. Not in the room, not adjacent, not waiting in the lobby. He's not media in that sense, the attorney protested. He's part of the team. Nora kept her voice even. Then he can be part of your team elsewhere. The attorney exhaled. Nora, this witness is essential. If we lose them, we lose everything. You understand what that means. Nora did understand. She understood causes. She understood reputations built on pain. She understood how easily justice became performance. I understand the deadline, she said. I also understand that witnesses are people, not symbols. If you want my help, my terms stand. Another pause. She could almost hear him deciding whether he could afford to be offended. Nora's eyes narrowed slightly. If he finds me, he does it outside your office. That's not reasonable, the attorney snapped, then caught himself. Sorry, it's just, everything is moving. The story is moving. Opposing counsel is already circling. Activists are demanding answers. We can't look like we're losing control. Nora wrote down losing control without changing her expression. I can meet you in 90 minutes, she said. Send me the last confirmed location of the witness, the names of anyone who had access to them in the last 72 hours, and an explanation for the redacted outgoing number in the packet. The attorney hesitated. That number is sensitive. Then your answer is also sensitive, Nora replied. And you should decide whether you want to tell it to me now or watch me find it later. His breath went shallow. It's complicated. Nora let the silence sit. Complicated was what people said when the truth interfered with their preferred outcome. Send it, she repeated. He swallowed. All right. I'll have my assistant email you.
Where are we meeting?
Nora named a location that was not her office, not his, and not a place with cameras she didn't control. A quiet hotel lobby with a side entrance and a coffee bar that didn't attract crowds. "See you then," she said. She ended the call without waiting for goodbye. For a moment, the office was silent again. Nora looked back at the packet on her screen. The witness's face stared up at her, small and too neat. Somewhere in Portland, someone had decided that protecting a story mattered more than protecting a person. Nora closed the laptop, stood, and pulled her coat back on. She didn't rush. She didn't dramatize. But she moved with purpose. Because 48 hours was already shrinking. And Nora Mitchell did not negotiate with clocks.